Hello everyone. So welcome back to the Enterprise Dev channel. In our previous video, we learned about SRE fundamentals, availability, reliability, MTTD, MTTR, MTPF, and the service level objectives. So today we are going to discuss another core concept in SRE. So that is monitoring and observability. So many beginners think these two terms mean same thing. So but actually they are different. So by the end of this video you will understand so what is a monitoring, what is observability, three pillars of observability, metrics, logs, and traces, and four golden principles, common monitoring and observability tools. So without any delay, so we can start. So why do we why do we need monitoring? So why do we need monitoring? So imagine, so you are driving a car, okay? So how do you know whether everything is working properly or not? So you don't open the engine, right? So every 5 minutes. So instead you look at the dashboard. So the dashboard tells you like a speed, dashboard tells speed, fuel level, and battery status. So if the engine overheats, a warning light appears, right? So that's exactly what monitoring does. That's exactly what monitoring does. So monitoring is a like dashboard of your application or your system. So it continuously checks the health of your system or application. Alerts you when something is goes wrong. Okay, something is goes wrong. So without monitoring, so engineers often discover problems every after customers report. So so that's the reason. So without monitoring, so customers report, right? Customers will report, okay, something is going wrong. So after that, engineers should discover the problems. That is the issue. So with monitoring, so immediately we will get the alerts, right? So after we got the alerts, so we will discover. So that doesn't affect the customers. That is the difference between the without and with the monitoring. So, okay, you got what is without, and you know why do we need monitoring? So next is what is monitoring? Okay, what is what is monitoring? So monitoring is a process of collecting and predefined data from the systems and application to understand whether everything is operating normally or not. So in simple words, so is my application is healthy? So suppose, so you have a e-commerce application, okay, e-commerce application. So you continuously monitor the CPU and memory and a disk, network traffic, error rate, response rate, request count. These things you have to monitor every time. Suppose if CPU uses crosses 90%, so immediately an alert will be generated. So alert will be generated. Engineer receives the receives notification. So then engineer is investigated before users are affected. That's monitoring. So monitoring only for only focus on known problems. So you already know what to measure, and you define threshold, you configure alerts. So and the system notifies you. That's the monitoring you can you can imagine. Next one is observability. So now let's move to the observability. So observability goes one step beyond monitoring. So monitoring tells observer something is wrong, and observability answers why is it wrong. That's a question. So yeah, you imagine your daughter tells you that you have a fever. So that's the monitoring. So now daughter performs some blood tests and X-rays and scans. Finally, doctor discovers the infection causing the fever. Okay, infection causing the fever. This is the cause. That's the observability. So he discovered the unknown problem, right? Unknown problem. So that's observability. So observability helps engineers investigate unknown problems. And it provides enough information to understand what's happening inside the complex system, especially in microservices. So when hundreds of services in my communicates, so monitoring alone isn't enough. So we need observation. That's why we are using observability. Okay. Next concept three three pillars of observability. So we have mm, metrics. So metrics, logs, and traces. First one is metrics. So metrics are numerical values collected over time. Okay, mm, numerical values collected over a time. Suppose CPU uses memory uses and network traffic. So network traffic. So these are all comes in the matrix because these are all the numerical values, right? So numerical matrix helps us answer questions like is my application becoming slow? Okay, how many requests are coming every second? Mainly metrics are lightweight, so they're excellent for the dashboards and alerting purpose. And the next pillar is we have logs. So logs are detailed record of application events. Okay, detailed records of application events. So like every it will capture every request, response, error, exception. So everything that can be stored as logs, like user successfully login, user login successful. So yeah, successful login. So developers really heavily like they are only depends on the logs during the debugging time. So that's why we need logs. Another one is traces. Suppose we have many microservices. So one of this is down or low. So you need to debug, right? You know, first this is the starting point of the application. This is the ending point of the application. So you are sending request to this service, and you are sending this request to this service. You are sending request to this service. So this is like totally pipeline of transactions. Something this service C is failed. Okay, service C is some slow. So you don't know which service has been become slow and which of the method will becoming slow and which of the database is slow. You don't know. So that's why traces helps like it will we can use traces to find which of the services failed and all things. That's why we are using traces here. I think you got that's a real example we can call. So that is the three pillars, and we have golden golden signals. So we have latency is one of the thing. So latency like application like how long does the application takes to respond, like mainly like a response time you can call it as. So response time we have P95 and a P99. These are the latencies which are currently we using. So I will tell you when they are needed. So after that we have traffic. So traffic, like how many requests are coming, arriving, like 100 requests per second and 500 transactions per minute. This we can say this is the traffic, right? And we have errors. So in errors we have okay, these HTTP 500 errors. So we got and at 400 400 errors, timeout errors. So these are the errors we can say. And another one is saturation. Um, Suppose um, we have CPU. Okay, CPU is reaches to 100%. So after CPU reaches to 100%, so this is a saturation, right? So, so after performance starts degrading. So when the CPU reaches the 100%, the performance starts degrading. So that it is a saturation point. So for common tools, for monitoring purpose, so we are going to like in this course we are understanding like we are using Prometheus is one of the tool we are using. After that we are using Grafana. Grafana, this is the one of the thing, and we have logging tools. We are using ELK Stack, and also I will use this Splunk, and sometimes I will use the Open Search. If you need, I will tell this also. So and also we have so tracing tools. So mainly many people using Zipkin and Jaeger and OpenTelemetry using. So these things we are using. So in this course, I will tell you like only a few of the things here. So I will tell you this Prometheus, Grafana, ELK Stack, and Open Splunk, and this thing one of the tell, and this is the one of the thing I will explain, and I will do hands on also. And the incident purpose like incident or alert. So we have pleasure duty. I will tell mainly pleasure duty or Slack only. So depending on the situations, we can use anything. So you got my point. You got all thing with. I hope this video help you understand the monitoring and observability in a simple, practical way. If you are preparing for SRE engineers interviews, so these concepts helps absolutely essential. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Enterprise. So thank you for watching. Thank you. Bye.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं फिल्मोरा है ना।